towels. Coincidence? Spring rolls are found in many different Asian cuisines. For Filipinos, we call it lumpia. When you find these served in a restaurant or a home or a party, you won't find one or two or three. You'll usually find a tray or a platter with 12, 24, a ton of them. When that's the case, presentation is really key. What you're looking for are a consistent golden brown color, they're the same width, and also they're rolled very tightly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our towels here to do the roll, because that's the key part in the presentation, because when you see the platter and they're all consistent in color and width and how they're rolled, it creates a really great presentation. So I'm going to wait while you go run out and grab a towel. Doesn't matter what size, just go. I'll wait. Let's watch a puppy video.
The ground's a long way.
That was so sweet. Alright, hopefully you have a towel by now. And again, it doesn't matter if it's a rectangle or any other shape. The first thing you have to do is just get it into a generally square shape. So if it's a rectangle, fold it in half, just like so. Next, lay it flat. And then you take one corner and you fold it so it looks like that. Then you fold in the sides, like so, and then you roll it up. And try your best to keep it tight. Not too tight, but tight enough. Otherwise, it's just gonna have a flat shape. What we're looking for is a nice round shape. So this is the lumpia towel roll. Once you have it with a basket full of towels, trust me, it will upgrade your bathroom experience just like how spring rolls will upgrade your cooking repertoire. So let's get started on the filling and then the wrapping and the cooking, and then maybe we'll do some lunch right after that. So when I prepare spring rolls, I have 4 stages actually. Cooking, mixing, wrapping, frying. There are other spring roll recipes out there where they have about 3 stages, which is mixing, wrapping, frying. The difference between this method and the other methods out there is that when you just mix all the raw ingredients, which includes the ground meat, when you wrap it, you really are relying on the cooking process to cook the center as well as the exterior, and you have to be careful not to undercook the meat or over brown the wrapper. That's a lot of stuff to manage. And additionally, I find that in that other method, the filling kind of cooks and condenses into a core. And you know, I like the fluffiness. And the other thing too is, as the meat cooks in that other process, the oils kind of leach out into the cooking oil and it gets a bit more fatty. Not my thing. With this process that we're going to follow, you cook everything all together, all at once. Then you wrap it, then you mix it, then you wrap it, then you cook it. You get instant fluffiness and you only have to worry about browning. Perfection. So let's look at the first ingredients we're going to be cooking with. We have ginger, garlic, and onion. Now imagine we have onion here. I actually ran out, but that's okay. Next we have carrot, celery, and cabbage. We'll cook these items first. The order to cook them, I would cook the ginger, garlic, and onion first until the onion is translucent. After that, add in the cabbage. Cook it for a little bit, you know, maybe about 2-3 minutes until it's a little bit softer. Afterwards, add the carrot and the celery until it's your preferred level of doneness. Some people, they prefer to have it raw, which is perfectly fine. Adds a lot of great crunch. Other people want it a bit softer, so you can decide what your level of doneness is. So let's get started on cooking these right now. First we start with the ginger, garlic, and onion, and we cook this until the onion is a little bit translucent. After that, we're going to be adding the cabbage. Okay, once the cabbage is a little bit softer, give it about 2-3 minutes or so, or a bit softer if you want it softer than that. Then we'll add the carrots and the celery. Alright, so we've already added the carrots and celery, and they've been cooking down for about, I'd say about 4 minutes or so. It's at the level of softness that we prefer in our household at least. We're going to add the cooked vegetables into this mixing bowl. Afterwards, in the same pan, we're going to cook the ground meat. And you could have pork, lean pork. You can also have a 50-50 pork turkey, for example. Really, it's whatever your preference is, as long as it's ground meat. A key thing here though is when you cook it, make sure that you drain out the rendered fat. You don't want to include that into your spring roll because you don't really need it and it makes it needlessly heavy. Alright, now let's look at the 3 other ingredients we're going to add before we add our seasonings. We have the meat we just cooked, green onions, and the bean sprouts. Let's add them all to the bowl, mix them up. After that, we're going to add our seasonings. Okay, let's take a look at our bowl right now. It looks absolutely fantastic. A ton of different colors. We're gonna get ready to mix this up. Let's look at the ingredients we have to bring into the fold. We have salt, pepper, sugar, soy sauce, chili flakes, and oyster sauce. Now those last 2 ingredients, you don't really need to add them, but they add a bit of depth and a bit of punch. So that said, you can also make spring rolls vegetarian if you wish. So when you're mixing, what I suggest is if you want to make the entire preparation vegetarian, just omit the meat and omit the oyster sauce and then just continue on with your preparation. Or if you wish to have both at the same meal setting, then what I suggest is make sure you portion it out. So the vegetables you had mixed, which includes the bean sprouts and the green onions, mix that thoroughly, then split that in half. And then you continue with 1/2 by mixing the ground meat and the seasonings, which include the oyster sauce if you want that. And that way you'll have 2 different filling preparations. You just have to make sure though that when you actually cook these, you separate them out so that you have the vegetarian on one platter and then you have the one with the meat preparation on another platter, and make sure that they're properly labeled, or at least your guests know which is which, because after you cook both batches, they look exactly the same. These are the spring rolls we're using. They come in different sizes, and you'll find these at the freezer section. You kind of have to figure out which one to get. The one I'm using today is about the size of your hand. I hope that helps. So once you are about ready to make your spring rolls, make sure you pull them out of your freezer about an hour beforehand, just so that they can properly thaw out enough so that you can peel them. Otherwise, you're gonna tear them. And we don't want that to happen, because while they're cooking, the fillings will spill out through the tears in the wrapper, and then you're just gonna have a bunch of burnt bits in your oil, which isn't very good. So take a few moments to peel It peels very easily once it's properly thawed. I would suggest peel a few at a time, then wrap a few at a time. If you peel the entire block of spring rolls, you'll find that they dry out and it makes it difficult to roll and they might develop cracks. So if you can, do it in batches, or if you do it in a family setting, like many Filipino families do, you form an assembly line. One person peels, the next person fills, the third person, I wish I had a rhyme, I don't, they just wrap and then they move it over to frying so that you can have a consistent throughput. If you don't have that and you're making it all by yourself, then no problem. I make about, say, enough to fill a pot. I don't have a deep fryer or an air fryer. I just use a regular pot. I fill it up with about that much oil. However many spring rolls will fit in that with enough space around each one, that's how much I make each time, and I just do it in batches, and I have a bit of a flow going on. That works for me. The key thing here is don't let these dry out. However, if you find that they are getting a bit dry, just put a damp paper towel on them. That'll freshen them up a bit, not too much, but at least it'll keep them from drying out. So we're gonna start wrapping a few of these right now, and if you recall the towel technique I showed you earlier, this shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, we have a few spring rolls ready to go. We're gonna get ready to cook. We're gonna have a pot going at about medium to medium high heat with a fair amount of oil in it. If you have a deep fryer, great. If you have an air fryer, great. I haven't cooked with those, I don't have that much experience, but from what I've heard, I think it's 500 degrees. Don't count me on that. I just use the old-fashioned pot with oil in it, and then I dip a spring roll into it, just the end. If it bubbles a fair amount, then your oil should be just about right. If it boils too aggressively, okay, your oil might be a bit too hot. You might want to turn down your heat and maybe set your oil aside for a bit. So once your oil's at the right temperature, it's bubbling just right, drop your spring rolls in carefully, and realistically, it should only take about 3 to 4 minutes for the wrapper to crisp up. You're looking for golden brown. Once it's achieved that, take them out and drain them. If you can, drain them vertically. That way the oil will drip down to the end. You don't want to lay it on their side, even if it's on a paper towel, because then the oil will actually make one side of your spring rolls a little less crispy. If you stand it on the end, then the most minimal amount of the spring roll will be less crispy. The rest will be crispy heaven. We'll go with that. All right, let's get ready to fry. Oh yeah, there you go. This is just the right amount of bubbling. It's just the right temperature. Let's drop that in. And we'll drop the other ones in. Okay, perfect. Oh, just right. Just the perfect amount of crispness. Let's plate it up. Oh, this is exactly what we're looking for. Crispy on the outside, golden brown, fluffy on the inside, and full of flavor. This dish has brought so much happiness into my household whenever we serve it for dinner. I know it's going to do the same thing for you as well. So when you have time, grab your towel, practice your roll, and when you're ready, make some spring rolls and enjoy the smiles. Take care. See you around. Look at those towels.